like to welcome you to the Doghouse. Thank you very much for viewing this footage. And what I would like to talk about is Woodworking 101 and getting into woodworking and starting at the entry level. One of the reasons why I'd like to be able to talk about that is back in the day when I first got started, you didn't have video clips or other resources. You had books at the library, and then usually you had TV shows showing high-end products and projects being built along with very professionals, and it wasn't helpful for the person getting into woodworking. And what we're going to talk about in our first clip is tools, hand tools, power tools or corded tools, and cordless power tools, and what you're going to need to get started with. And about the cost as well, and getting into the cost, and talk about a little bit about that. You don't have to spend a great deal of money to have the basic hand tools to build projects, and to also do minor repairs around your home. So first thing we're going to get into is some power tool or hand tools. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, let's go ahead and get started. A hammer is probably the most important tool that you're going to be using when you first start out. A lot of these tools we're going to be covering today, you probably have laying around your house already. I recommend you start gathering them up and putting them in one location. It'd be easy to find and take an inventory of them to know what you have and don't have on hand. You don't have to go out and spend a lot of money for a real expensive tool cabinet. You can use shelving, foot locker, and you can build on that in a later date. But let's go ahead and get into hammers. The first thing I want to talk about is your claw hammer. Probably the most used tool you're going to have right up front. They're pretty self-explanatory. You need to have a good quality one right up front. Next thing is a mallet. As you can see, the mallet comes in variety sizes. Get one that fits good. You don't need to spend a lot of money, but you need to have one up front. A lot of uses, and we'll talk more about that in a later video. A heavy-duty hammer or sledgehammer, anywhere from 2 to 4 pounds. They come with fiberglass handles, wood handles, different sizes. Again, you can pick them up at a discount bargain store or any of your home supply stores. Now also, if the budget allows, a small light hammer, tack hammer, you'll find many uses for this, and once you have one, you probably won't be able to do without it. Now, in related with all this, let's talk about a crowbar real quick, or a flat bar. There's 2 different types. Recommend right up front you have one, and you'll find out that you're going to need one earlier in your woodworking. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next tool. All right, what we're going to talk about real quick is screwdrivers. Again, it's probably something you already have laying around your house and just need to gather up. You only need to start out 2 basic types of screwdrivers. Your Phillips tip and your slotted. And all I recommend to start out with is 3 different sizes. Your medium sizes are going to be the ones you use the most. All I got to say is a lot of times they have full kits at a very reasonable price on sale at your different locations and at your bargain stores. If you have the money, go ahead and get that or buy them individually. But 3 different sizes, one of Phillips tips, 3 different sizes slotted. All right, what we're going to talk about now is clamps. You're going to find out they're probably one of the most used or most important tools that you have in your arsenal when you start woodworking. First of all, let's talk about spring clamps. You need right up front a couple of big ones, a couple of medium ones, and they're just what they are, spring clamps. Slide bar clamps are on the bar. They slide back and forth, and you can tighten and loosen as you need. You need 2 of them. Then you have the pistol grip type, they're ratcheting right up front, just like so. You're going to need 2. Now, I recommend anywhere from 24 to 36 inches long, and again, a large and a medium-sized spring clamps. You're going to need them right up front. Okay, real quick, we're going to talk about files and chisels you're going to need to start out with. First thing is you only need 2 different types of chisels, like a 3/4 inch and a 1/2 inch. Again, you can buy these in kits. You can buy them individually. I recommend that you get the best quality that you can afford in this type of tool. Always keep in mind, real quick, you got to keep your chisels sharp. The most dangerous chisel you got is a dull one. Now, real quick, 2 different types of files that you'll need. One is a real basic order rasp with a quarter round on one side, flat on the other. Then what they call a rat tail file for smoothing. But if you use any type of file at all, make sure it comes with a handle if it's a rat tail. All right, let's talk about the next thing. All right, next thing I want to talk about is measuring devices and other items that are directly related to measuring devices. First thing I want to talk about is your basic T-square. We'll talk about in a further video how it works, what the degrees are, but right up front you want to be concentrated getting a true 90-degree angle. These come in plastic and metal. If you can afford it, get the metal one. It'll last you much longer. Next one is adjustable T-square. This has many different uses. Not only is the slide part or the metal part will act as a 12-inch ruler for you. You can adjust this according to how much space you have. Also can double as a level in here as well. Real handy. Next thing is a small level. When you're leveling up devices, you can get it at level, draw your line, you know you have it level. Important, not expensive. Next thing is a protractor with a pencil, doing round radiuses, corners, works great. Next thing is a tape measure. Once again, it makes me smile when I say tape measure. Somewhere around in my shop, I got probably 20 of them. I don't know where any of them at. When I need one, probably can't find it. Recommend you get a couple. They come in different lengths and different widths. Get a couple of different sizes. They'll come in handy. Next thing is what they call a slide protractor, where this is mostly for putting it into an angle where you need to cut a board to fit. Then you can transfer that angle onto the board you're cutting, cut it, fits perfect first time. Real handy. Then, in very similar, the difference between the two is this one here has degrees on it. So you can transfer that degrees onto a saw if you need to make that cut. 36-inch ruler. I recommend you get a plastic or a metal one. The wooden ones over time will warp, and then it doesn't help you as a straight edge. That is great for measuring flat surfaces, but it gives you a true edge when measuring to draw a line. Last thing is a 4-foot level. Not only does it double as a large leveling device, but gives you a real good straight edge for over 48 inches. Real important. Okay, that's what you need right up front, and I want to talk about today on measuring devices and straight edges. All right, next thing I want to talk to you about is hand saws. They are important. I know it's old school type stuff, but you'll find yourself using these a lot and needing them a lot. Two different types of saws I recommend right up front. The first one is what they call a crosscut saw. There's two different types out in the market, a rip saw and a crosscut. The difference is a crosscut saw has fine teeth. A rip saw, which is used to cut with the grain, has large teeth spaced apart. Recommend a crosscut saw very similar to this. The next thing is a lot of people call these little Japanese saws. Very good, fine teeth, get in the small places, cutting wooden pegs, small pieces of wood. Extremely handy. And in follow-on videos, we'll talk about how to best use these and how to use them and when to use them. Okay. All right, the last thing I want to talk about dealing with hand tools is miscellaneous tools. Now keep in mind, this is not an end-all. As you get into woodworking, there's small odds and ends you're going to need to pick up and have, depending on what you're working on and what your skill level is. But I just want to guide you in the right direction here. All right, now let's go ahead and get to our miscellaneous tools. The first one, and probably one of the most important, is your safety tools. You got to have them, trust me. Good pair of gloves, safety goggles, ear protection, and of course always follow your manufacturer's recommendation on safety when working with tools. You have to trust me on that. After cutting off 2 fingers, I learned my lesson. Alright, next thing I want to talk about is pencils. Kind of similar to measuring tapes. Probably got 50 of them in the shop. Never can find one when I need one. Always need to have some on hand. Good pencil sharpener comes in handy as well. Basic wrench set. If you can afford it, get one in standard and one in metric as well. Many different uses around the house as well. We'll get more into why you need wrenches a little bit later on, especially when you're dealing with carriage bolts, lag bolts. Next thing I want to talk about is a good utility knife. Many different types out there, styles. Get what fits you and what you're comfortable with operating. And it'll work out well for you. Very handy tool. Next thing is 3 basic pliers. Side cutters, needle nose, and the regular standard pliers will come in handy. Next thing is pair of shears. You'll need them. A lot of uses there. Next thing is an adjustable wrench. Always come across an odd size nuther bolt. Wrench is not handy. Socket won't fit on it. There you go. One size fits all. Next thing I want to talk about is a basic flashlight. Doesn't matter which type you have. You can have a low-end battery-operated one or a high-speed, low-drag rechargeable one. But you're going to need it, trust me. And the last thing here I want to talk about is a socket set. Again, without spending 4 hours talking about each individual item and all the things it can do, you're just going to have to trust me on this. Socket set has many different uses, not only with woodworking, but around the house and working on your home and automobile as well. This here kind of ends it up right now with our hand tools. Do keep in mind, it's not an end-all, just to help guide you what you need up front. Alright, that wraps it up for hand tools. I want to thank you all for viewing and look forward to seeing you in the near future. We'll be putting out 2 more videos, one on corded power tools and one on cordless power tools. Don't hesitate to comment on this video. I look forward to seeing some of your comments. And once again, this is Jeff from the Doghouse. Thank you.